make you understand.
Hey everybody, I'm Tony Jones, and welcome to the Tony Jones Show.
It's not that people are willing to take the risk. It's just sort of a herd mentality, a lemming-like mentality. If you don't go with the flow, you're anti-American and therefore a suspect.
The Tony Jones Show, featuring punk, rockabilly, psychobilly, and Providence, Rhode Island's finest, starts right now.
He's a dangerous militia member, I hear. Oh, and there she blows.
I spent 5 years swimming up against the current, thinking I was going somewhere, but I wasn't. Getting tired and being tired was my life, but they told me it would all be worth the fight. I'll never know, but I let it go, and it feels alright. I floated down the river, and I just took it easy. Saw so many things I missed when I was busy, being tired and trying so hard to win something that after all, the swimming doesn't look like nothing. I'll never know, but I let it go, and it feels alright. I'll never know, but I let it go, and it feels alright. I said, I spend my life worried about things I can't control, and I spend my life worried about things I cannot know while I'm alive. I could cry over all the years that I had lost, cut off from the life of lies at such a cost. But why waste energy on praising vain? I don't know where I would be anyway. I'll never know, but I let it go, and it feels alright. I hear their voices haunting me as I flow by, warning me, swim or you will surely die. But I believe I made the best choice I could make, and I refuse to question myself every day. I'll never know, but I let it go, and it feels alright. I'll never know, but I let it go, and it feels alright. I said, I spend my life worried about things I can't control, and I spend my life worried about things I cannot know while I'm alive. I'm alive. I forget that I'm still alive. Yeah, I'm not dead yet. I'm alive. Gonna live out the best life I can without regret. I said, I spend my life worried about things I can't control, and I spend my life worried about things I cannot know while I'm alive.
Friends, the time for mediocrity in broadcasting is over. My name is Tony Jones, and you are tuned in to the Tony Jones Show, your destination for talk and rock. Online at tonyjones.org, facebook.com/Tony Jones Show. We're on the almighty Twitter at Tony Jones in RI. Thank you for tuning in and hanging out. Hope you're catching us live. But if you're not, of course, don't forget we are on all your major podcasting outlets. Spreaker, Stitcher, iTunes, iHeartRadio. The list goes on and on. Kicking things off with a little Tammy Laforest. I'm Alive, the name of that one. Big show on tap for you The Kenny Wayne Shepherd Band is currently on tour. We'll catch up with bluesman Kenny Wayne Shepherd in just a few. Also, big hunger-related relief event happening Friday night. We'll talk to the organizer, Liz. And, of course, we have the best local music around on tap for you. A double shot. Yes, that's right, a double shot. Two of them up next from the Safes right here on the Tony Jones Show. That'll start off with Ace for a Face. You heard it here. coming out of two from the safes right here on the Tony Jones Show. Last time we chatted, I brought you into Ace for a Face. And then the one you just heard, Know It All. Up next, it's Sea Monsters, one of my favorite tracks by Meaghan Casey. And then on the opposite side of Sea Monsters, we'll catch up with the blues man himself, Kenny Wayne Shepherd, right here on the Tony Jones Show.
Tales of monsters of the sea. And if you need me, I'll be singing like I got 1,000 hungry mouse feet. And I'll be riding, and I'll be riding, and I'll be riding, and I'll be riding. Lovers before, most of them were true. They were all just rivers and lakes, but the ocean was you. So we'll be riding, we'll be riding, we'll be riding, we'll be riding.
Hey everybody, Tony Jones here. You were tuned in to the Tony Jones Show. Kenny Wayne Shepherd is on the line with me, great blues man. Hey Kenny.
Hey, how's it going?
Kenny Wayne Shepherd is currently on tour with the Kenny Wayne Shepherd Band. They'll be on tour until October, then they'll jump over the pond for some UK dates. But they'll be here in our neck of the woods this Saturday, August 26th, for the Blues and Barbecue Festival at Bold Point Park, the brand new waterfront venue in East Providence, Rhode Island. Kenny, how's the tour going so far?
It's going really well, you know. We kicked it off, this tour first started over in Europe. We did 3.5 weeks in Europe in July. The album came out over there while we were in Europe, and then we came back to the States for the release on August the 4th and kicked off the tour a couple of days later, and it's been going really well. All the shows have been packed. You can see a lot of people in the audience that already have the record and are singing along with the new songs. And then you can see the people that don't have it, that, you know, don't know the new songs, and then halfway through some of the new songs, they're already singing along with the chorus. So everything's going over really well.
So sometimes touring isn't the glorious life that everybody kind of dreams it to be. What keeps you out on the road?
Well, I mean, I go out on the road because I live for playing live music for people. I mean, you know, the thrill, the excitement, and watching, you know, the things that, you know, we're able to do for people through music. I think that's what I live for. I love to do. We make albums so that we can go out on tour and play music.
The Kenny Wayne Shepherd Band currently on tour. What do you look for in bandmates? And when you put a band together to go out on the road, how does that all come together?
Well, I mean, first of all, you look at the playing and
Sure.
their talent,
Yeah.
and, you know, how suited are they for the job or for this particular band. And then personalities are important because, you know, when you're traveling out on tour, man, you're essentially all living together, you know. and spending a lot of time together. So personalities are almost equally as important as the musical talent. But, I've got some tremendously talented players in my band, and some people that have been with me for many, many years, and then other people that have just recently joined the band. But everything's working out really well. I mean, I think it's probably one of the best live bands that I've ever had.
And Lay It Down, you touched on it a little bit, but Lay It Down is the new album, already #1 on the blues charts. Anything else you'd like to touch on regarding the new record?
Well, we had a strong debut. The first week it was #1 on the blues chart, #1 on the rock chart, #5 on the current release chart. So it was all really great stuff. I mean, it just goes to show that people are still interested in real music, And this album is contemporary. I mean, it's a new, fresh sounding, all new songs, and it's not a typical blues album. We took blues as the foundation of music, and then we kind of pushed an diversity on this record, and tell great stories that have strong choruses and top shelf musicianship, and that's what you got with this record.
So I'd be remiss if I let you out of here without talking a little bit about your cars. The old saying is the only difference between men and boys is the size of their toys, and you have quite the nice toy collection. Tell us a little bit about this car collection you've amassed.
Well, my collection is pretty modest compared to people like Jay Leno or someone like that. I mean, I probably have about 11 cars, where he's got over 200, but I'm an old school, American muscle car guy. I love American muscle cars from the 60s and 70s. And what I know the most about, the Mopars, right. So the Dodge, Chrysler, Plymouth vehicles. So that's kind of my forte. I have some modern performance vehicles as well. But, I just love cars and guitars. That's kind of my two things.
That could be the next tour, the next album, Cars and Guitars.
That just might be.
I mean, you can't beat that. Kenny, I'm a punk rock guy, and over the last more years than I'd like to think about, I've kind of been the oldest guy out at punk rock shows, and being into punk. And you're the complete reverse of that. So you're a young blues guy, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, but blues and kind of the genres are now a little bit, brought out towards an older crowd. What's it like being kind of a younger guy in what's seen as an older genre, or have people not even noticed that?
Well, my whole life, I started my career as a teenager playing blues music, so I was always the youngest guy in the room or the youngest guy in the band.
Yeah.
But, I just turned 40, so a lot of that's changing. And, I'm not quite as young as I used to be. But this genre, though, man, when I was a kid and my albums hit and we were selling millions of records, every time we put out a record, there was a lot of young people in my audience.
Yeah.
And I think part of that had to do with the fact that I was a young person myself.
Right.
But, I loved blues music as a child, so I still see young people. Obviously it's predominantly older, but we still see a lot of young people out there. There's a lot of young people that are picking up instruments and trying to learn how to play blues music. You just go on YouTube and you can find thousands of them. But the great thing about my concerts is the age demographic is from 7 to 70, and
sure.
Entire families can come see our shows together and stuff. So, I don't know, but I definitely not getting any younger, and so it's only a matter of time before, we'll be part of the generation of my generation will be the elder generation of the blues
right.
At some point.
The elder statesman. I remember going to shows and seeing that old punk rock guy leaning against the bar, and now I'm that old punk rock guy leaning against the bar. It's come full circle for me.
Yeah, time is something that none of us can escape, that's for sure.
So I know you got to get back on the road. What's next in the pipeline after you wrap things up with this tour, supporting this album, and then heading over to the UK?
Well, we're going to Europe in October. We're touring here August, September. Then I'm probably at the end of this year, I'm going to go in the studio and do some more recording, both with my band and with my other band of mine that I have with Steven Stills and Barry Goldberg. And then next year we'll be out on the road even more. And looking towards putting out some new material again sometime next year or just after. It's we're just keeping the ball rolling, man, and bringing the music to the people.
Well, I think you're going to like the venue you're playing here, which is fairly a new venue, but it's right out on the water in East Providence, right out on the river, just a perfect location for a blues and barbecue fest. And again, that's going to be this Saturday, August 26th here, Bold Point Park in East Providence. And you can find all things Kenny Wayne Shepherd at KennyWayneShepherd.net. And of course, you are on all of the social media sites. Kenny, I want to thank you again. Have a a great tour. Stay safe out there, and welcome to Rhode Island in a few days.
All right, man.
Thanks
for
again,
having me
man.
on.
Now
Coming out of two from Castle Black right here on the Tony Jones Show. Some brand new music for us here on the Tony Jones Show. Seeing in Blue, and then the track you've just heard, Blind Curtain. The double shots continue now with two from Listen Lady, starting off with Baby, I'm Manic.
It's rude to turn around.
In my mind, we're a train. It goes around in the rain, but it's okay. It's lying on the ground.
Please do and don't leave me alone. Please do and don't leave me alone. Manic and staggered, anxious and panicked. Oh baby, please don't let me go. 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 People I avoid, no, they'll find me somehow. 10 minutes to downtown, it's way too far. Don't let me go. Don't let me go. Don't let me go. Don't let me go. Nowhere but up from here. Another sorry year that I spent all by myself.
I hold my breath to hear only words so sincere, but it's okay.
I'm not by myself. Please do and don't leave me alone. Please do and don't leave me alone. Manic and stagnant, anxious and panicked. Oh baby, please don't let me go. 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 People I avoid, no, they'll find me somehow. 10 minutes to downtown, it's way too far. Don't let me go. Don't let me go. Don't let me go. Don't let me go. People I avoid, no, they'll find me somehow. 10 minutes to downtown, it's too fucking far. Don't let me go. Don't let me go. Don't let me go. Don't let me go.
Hey honey, what are you doing here tonight? I saw you standing here alone. Need some company? Oh yeah, I know a lot of people here. Who are you with? You're the prettiest girls here. Aren't you lonely? Thanks for no thanks. Hey, listen. No, really, I'm fine. Hey, listen. I said I'm not interested. Hey, listen. Thanks for no thanks. Whoa, baby, relax. Wanna try a special brownie? Maybe it'll loosen you up. Don't you wanna party? You just got here, don't leave. Didn't I say you were pretty? Maybe it's just a light in here. Are you always such a frigid bitch? I tried to be nice. Hey, listen. I tried to be nice. Hey, listen. But I don't wanna say it again. Hey, listen. You can't talk to me like that. Why do you think you can talk to me like that? Why do you think you can talk to me like that? Why do you think you can talk to me like that? Why do you think you can talk to me like that?
Tony Jones here. You were tuned in to the Tony Jones Show, happening this Friday at one of our favorite venues around town, the Met. The first ever Rhode Island Feeds concert to end hunger is happening. On the line with me is Liz, the organizer. Liz, thanks for dialing in.
Oh, no worries. We're pretty excited about the concert on Friday, so thank you for letting us talk about it.
So I was talking a little bit with Steve Maciola, who, for as long as I can remember, has been one of the biggest advocates for hunger relief and kind of a hunger warrior. He is also a fan of the fine local music that happens in this area. But talk a little bit about the event, and it looks like a really great concept, kind of a hybrid of a meal and then some great bands playing, and it's all for hunger relief. Tell us about it.
Well, and we're pretty excited about it. There are a number of smaller nonprofits in the state that are focusing on hunger, on food security.
Mm-hmm.
And so a number of us have gotten together and tried to make a stronger coalition, get us all pushing in the right direction, so that we can really achieve some meaningful change. And Steve has been working with hunger in the music industry for, I don't know, I think you said 30 years. The other
Longer
day.
than I've been allowed to go to bars.
Exactly. So he is like the man when it comes to talking about Rhode Island, the Rhode Island music scene, and how it intersects with the whole hunger issue. And there's some, with his 1 of 52 network,
right.
He's got a number of really terrific local bands that are focused on that, like Mark Cutler and all those folks. So when I met him a couple of years ago, we started talking about ways that we could get everybody in Rhode Island pushing in the same direction, all on the same page.
Sure.
And one of the things that we came up with was the idea to start creating these Rhode Island Feeds, Rhode Island events. And we would have one big event every year and grow year after year and focus the state on trying to solve this problem. So the plan is to have a walkathon and a bikeathon, a concert at India Point Park, a food festival, bringing in partners like Jim Nellis and David Zedikian,
Sure.
and have it be a big event like that. We're looking at 2018 for that.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a precursor to that major event. We're partnering with Why Hunger, and as you know, that's Jen Chapin, and her father, Harry Chapin, was the person who started that organization. Yeah. So we're thrilled to be part of their family, really trying to address the hunger issue. It's horrifying how many people are actually hungry in Rhode Island. You'll hear the folks at the food bank talk about the fact that 33 million meals are missing in Rhode Island, and that's usually the elderly and the very young. So we need to do more to make a difference.
It's amazing to think about the people that you know, that I know, that we all know, that we would consider to be successful, but they are one paycheck or a week-long illness or a blown transmission really away from being food insecure.
Oh, you bet. Absolutely. The nonprofit that I have works with municipal and state government to plant community gardens where people rent plots and then donate a portion of what they raise to either the food pantry or an old folks home or a veterans home or someplace where you know that fresh produce would come in handy. Yeah. And it grew out of a program that I did in New Brunswick, Canada, where I started out by doing a garden in my own yard, and I had never gardened before. And one of the men from the village came and said, help me out, and said, well, you plant enough for your family, 10% more for the crows, and then 30% more for your neighbors.
Yeah.
And I looked at him like he had two heads, and he said, well, Mr. Love across the street is 3 years away from his old age pension, and that would really come in handy. It'd help him make ends meet. And then Mrs. Dallin down the road is ill, but she loves Swiss chard, so that would really brighten her day if she had some fresh Swiss chard. And it was an epiphany moment that got me to look at my neighbors differently. And I think that's what we all need to do here.
So what can folks expect Friday night at the Met? There's kind of two tiers of you can come for the meal and stay for the concert, or you can just opt for the meal, or you can just opt for the concert. Tell folks a little bit about that.
Well, the meal portion is sold out.
Nice.
We're full with that, so that's good news. But the concert portion starts at 8, and you can either buy tickets online or come to the door. And it's going to be a great show. We've got Jen Chapin and her trio coming, and she is an incredible vocalist. And you'll absolutely enjoy that part of the show. And then we've got Chakula, who's up in Rhode Island now. He travels up and down the East Coast doing Concerts for Hunger in his hunger relief bus. So he's another one like Steve that's been in this whole arena for a very long time, so it's great to have him on board too.
Keep in the loop with these folks because it looks like there's plenty more events in the pipeline.
Oh, that's great, Tony. Thank you so much.
Up next, we're going to hear from Dylan, Sevey, and the Gentlemen. This one, 55-Year-Long Autumn. You heard it here on The Tony Jones Show.
In love with the hopeless, I'm a hypocrite trying to break free. But I'll attest to the happiness crawling between the fallen leaves. And I'll admit I'm a sucker for the breaks that at times I do receive. 'Cause everyone I know loves the summer, but don't call me crazy when I say that with each passing season, I'm quietly hoping that a year-long autumn comes my way. A year-long autumn come my way. the sky so beautiful back home. 'Cause everyone I know loves the sun.
of love in a world of our own. Pain, oh, so suddenly you were gone. That love I depended upon disappeared when you went away. Daughter of darkness, stay out of my life, my life. You took my heart, then you broke it apart. Daughter of darkness, daughter of darkness, please leave me alone forever. Daughter of darkness, gone is the love that we share together, together, together. Daughter of darkness, stay out of my life, my life. You took my heart, then you broke it apart. Daughter of darkness, daughter of darkness, you devil, leave me alone forever. Daughter of darkness, gone is the love that we share together. Daughter of darkness, daughter of darkness, daughter of darkness.
Daughter of Darkness, the name of that one, a little Misfits right here on the Tony Jones Show from the remixed Project 1950. And if you're a rock and roll fan, I'm sure you have heard by now that it will be happening in December, but way out in Los Angeles at the Forum. Glenn Danzig, Jerry Oley, and Doyle hitting the stage. A true treat for all of us horror punkers. Hey, I want to thank you for tuning in and hanging out with me as we wrap things up on this week's Tony Jones Show. Facebook.com/Tony Jones Show. Go to Twitter at Tony Jones in RI. Of course, go to TonyJones.org or RIFreeRadio.org. On those websites, if you click on the contact page, and if you have music you'd like to send to us, or if you'd like to be in studio on the program, again, TonyJones.org, RIFreeRadio.org. Click on the contact page. Thank you once again for tuning in and hanging out. Bye, everybody. Bye.